So, looking at the title, um, yeah, I've been running from the truth. And in order to really explain that, I need to go all the way back to kind of like when I was 11. And I know everybody's like, oh, you've been gone for 8 months. I haven't uploaded in 8 months. I know I said I was doing school, but then I stopped school. I already graduated, so then I'm not uploading and whatever, and the channel's just kind of dying. So I know it's weird to see me after almost another year, especially because I already had taken another break on YouTube. So here I am again. But yeah, so I am here back again, but this time I'm not going to be running from the truth. I'm not going to be running from what I've been called to do. And I know everyone's kind of thinking, what? What are you talking about? This whole narrative of me running specifically starts from when the knowledge started from about 11, from when I knew. And then when I started running from what I knew was about 14 years old. So at 11 years old, I knew I was raised knowing of God and raised reading the Bible, knowing the stories, all of that. I wasn't necessarily raised Christian, but I was raised knowing God. I was already Christian by the time I was like 8 to maybe 8, 9. I was already established as a Christian. And at 11, God was working with me heavily. And I knew that I was going to have to do what He called for me to do. I didn't want what God had put in me because I felt some type of way of being the only kid who was supposed to be different than the others, who was supposed to be an outlier, someone who wasn't normal. And I knew I wasn't normal for a very, very, very long time. And I just tried my best to fit in and look normal. And I wasn't necessarily popular, but I was well known. Pretty much everyone knew who I was. Everyone knew I was a chill, fun dude, and I just like to be chill, fun, crack jokes, yada yada yada, boom boom pow. But like because I kind of wanted to be like how everybody else was, not used by God, but just be a normal kid. Because I knew ever since that moment in time where God spoke to me and God was gonna use me as a vessel to preach His word and to share His good news, I was like, I'm just a kid, right? And God basically told me, it doesn't matter if you're a kid. I'm gonna use you. Doesn't matter. He called me Jeremiah, which was a figure in the Bible who God was using when he was a kid. And there's other figures in the Bible who were used as a kid, but he was kind of like, basically kind of told me, you're like Jeremiah. You're young, and I'm gonna use you while you're young. Your age hasn't to have no importance to me. It doesn't matter. I don't see the age, I see you. And I'm gonna use you in a way that pleases me to do what my will is. And I was basically like, no, like I'm not Jeremiah, I'm me. I'm not doing that. I don't care. And from so basically I was like, I'ma still be Christian. I'ma still believe in you. I'ma still believe in you and you know, go to church and all of that sometimes, but I wanna do how I wanna do and I wanna live my life and I wanna be normal. I said that around 14 years old. And at 14, I've just been running from that until I got older, but you know, I was running from God. I didn't want to I was still with God, but I wasn't with God in the way that I should have been, which is why when I first started this channel, which is around 2020, I was 15 years old. I was entertaining people, and instead of doing God's will, God's work, I just started entertaining people. And I went on Snapchat. I started in Snapchat. I was doing a few videos, short 3 minute video or 1 minute videos, 15-second videos. I asked the people if I should do snap videos on YouTube, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, you'd be an amazing entertainer." Da, da, da. I had people even telling me if I were to do it for a long period of time and stay consistent, I could get to the top of YouTube, literally. And so with that going to my head, What did it do? It led me farther from the truth. It led me in the opposite direction that I should have been going, away from God, away from His purpose, and into an own path I was creating for myself, a path that was never going to work out, because once you go against God, nothing's going to go well for you. That's what I did. I started with homecoming videos, girl asking me out videos, this, and that, whatever, entertaining people, and then I just grew tired of it. No matter how hard I fought against God's will and what He wanted me to do, I ended up shifting my way back until His original plan for me. What I mean by shifting is, you can see from my YouTube channel. You can see it in base. It's clear as day in my YouTube. I started out doing story times, and I started switching and moving forward, and you can see that I started doing story times. I started doing Among Us for popularity, to get viewers in, to then set my channel, and then after a while continue doing entertainment. And I stopped doing entertainment, and I said, you know what, I'm done. And I made that why I left YouTube. In that moment, I had to stop. I had to reflect, and I knew God was working with me. And I said, you know what, I'm tired of entertaining people. All I'm doing is entertaining people who don't know of God, who are lost. They could be struggling with something, and instead of me helping them and giving them something that God wants me to give them, I'm just giving them a laugh or two to then continue to struggle and go through pain. And in that moment, I said, you know, I'm gonna come back to YouTube, not the way God wants me to do it, but I'm gonna get a step closer to what He wants me to do. So what was I doing? I was giving advice. Giving advice, reflecting on topics, talking about this is bad, this is bad. Look at the world, look at this, look at society, look at our culture. Just reflecting. Basically, kind of being not fake woke, but giving advice, being woke. And then, you know, I had a massive experience, and you know, for 4 or 5 months, just something that I'll talk about at a different time. But basically, now I'm back, and I'm done running from the truth. That means from now on, there's no such thing as YK Chulo, Fearless, whatever the previous names I've gone by, or Among Us, or. And speaking of that Among Us stuff, you could see that no matter what you want to do, it's not gonna work if God's not guiding you or telling you to do it. Because you could see that I was getting success from it. I wasn't failing. I wasn't, you know, like I was gaining success. I was doing what I was doing. It was working. 24,000 views, 10,000 views. I had like 35,000 combining views, something in that series, and I had like over 40K that had looked at my channel, my page. I was gaining success, but I only got 300 subscribers, and nobody even came back to my channel, and boom. What does that tell you? No matter how hard I'm gonna try by myself to do what I want to do, it's not gonna work, because God has already established something. What God establishes is perfect. So, and it's better than what anything you try to do by yourself. This channel, I'm establishing, or God's using me to establish His channel as something for Him, the work that He wants me to do. And I gotta do what I gotta do to give His message, to spread His word, to bring awareness, to strengthen people's spirits. Not me, but His word through me can strengthen some people, help some people, save some souls even. And, you know, maybe do better mark on the world, because I tried by myself and I didn't get anywhere. And I know that doing what God wants me to do, He's going to help me flourish, instead of me going to do what I want to do blindly without having any guidance and not getting anywhere. So God wanted to separate me from other kids and be by myself and be with Him. Except I wanted to be with everybody else, because I wanted what they had, and that was just being normal. But if being normal as a kid means being lost without God, means playing games and being distracted and doing all of these things to pleasure you in the moment, but then when you're grown up and you're an adult and you end up being lost and you're without God, without love, without peace in your heart, mind, and soul, I'd rather take God and be alone than to do whatever I was chasing in the first place. I was Christian, I've been Christian, and I didn't act like I was Christian, and I didn't accept the whole thing about God wanted me to be alone for Him, because I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be like the other 14, 15-year-old kids. I thought it was lame to preach about God, to be a 14-year-old so close with God, because the other kids that I went to school with weren't like that. I've always been different, and I first didn't like it. I didn't like that I was different, that God chose me to do this, this, and that, and I have a special relationship with God. I didn't like that. Nobody else has it. Why do I have to be different and do this, this, and this, and this? Why do I have to be real, like, be like really deep into God stuff and this, and that, when everybody just gets to play games, be 14, 15, party, and have fun, and I can't? So instead of getting closer to God, I got farther away from God. I was still with him. The only thing that was saving me was saying, God, I'm still with you, but I'm gonna do things how I want to do it. I was more worried about popularity, being popular and being well liked by everyone, instead of allowing God to separate me from all those people that I didn't need to be around, and said, look, this is what I want you doing. You don't need to waste your time with these people. This is what I've always been wanting you to do. This is what you got to do. And instead of doing that, I went to spend time with those people who smoked, who did drugs, who partied, who was just doing all the dumbest stuff you could think a teen doing, drinking, having sex, partying, drugs, all of that. Not that I was doing the same. Thank God I never, you know, threw myself in that, but I was hanging around those people, and I was around a little bit of that influence. Not a lot of it, but obviously, I was hanging around those people at school, and regardless of whether I hung out outside of them, or I hung with them outside of school, which I never really did. It was super rare, but that doesn't change the fact that I was Christian. I knew what I should have been doing, but I wasn't doing it. That is the truth. I've been Christian. I've always been Christian. God's always wanted to use me. God's always wanted to use me to preach his word, and I've been afraid of that, and I don't want to do it. So I was running from the truth, but I accept that truth now. And here, I have to establish that. I don't know if this channel is going to have uh, a lot of view success, but I know because it's God's plan, because it's what God wants for me, and it's not what I want. I know because it's God, it has to be greater than what I could do. Of course, it has to be greater than what I could do and I did. Give me the strength to carry out his will. Then I know things have to break in, not just my life, but other people's lives. And more importantly, this is just to spread everything so people can know and learn about it. This is no longer YK Chulo Fearless. I'm just going by my normal name now. I'm switching the channel. I'm changing everything up. Some people, I know there's some people on here who used to know me or know me, and I know some people won't like the difference in me that they see now. Some people won't like it, or I used to know, specifically because I know that some of them watch my videos and they're subscribed. They won't like the difference, or they'll be shocked by the difference. And regardless of the opinions of others, I just know that this is what I got to do now, and I'm not gonna be afraid or have shock or be anxious about, oh, what do they think that I'm different than them. I've always been different than them, and that's just the the truth. And I just refused to act like it because I didn't want them to know I was different. And you know what? Maybe it's better to be different. And you know what? I'm fine with being different. I'm Christian. I can't be the same. I won't be the same as everybody else, which is why I'm here. And I got to do what I got to do now. So, but that's it for today. God bless each and every single one of you. I hope that it's kind of like a quick little testimony. I hope my testimony touched your heart. Or at least it gave you a food for thought. But yeah, talk to y'all later. See y'all later, whenever that is, and have a good one.